What's going on, guys? It's Andy here. Welcome back to another episode of the Andy Kandola Show. So in today's episode, I want to go ahead and share with you guys the top 5G stocks that I personally like better than At&T. Now, I personally love AT&T, don't get me wrong on that, but these are going to be the stocks that I see having a better potential to grow, and some of the better stocks that I personally like better than AT&T. And I'll share with you guys my reasoning behind that as we get into the video. Additionally, I do want to go ahead and share with you guys an update on my portfolio. There has been a lot that has been going on in the market recently. The market's been all over the place, but in the last 5 days here, the market was pretty stable. It did go up a little bit earlier on in the week, and then it fell back about 100 points because as far as the job market reports go, the job market report did show some disappointment as well as some of the earnings. Netflix recently just came out with their earnings in the last week, and their earnings were not as expected. So those were some of the things that made an impact overall in this last week. But now just going back into my portfolio here, if you are new to this channel, I have a portfolio that is my dividends based portfolio that I call my bucket list portfolio. Within this portfolio, I do have stocks to split up between the 11 different sectors within the S&P 500. And within these sectors, I do have different stocks and investments, but all the stocks do pay out a dividend. So the goal with this portfolio is to just grow over time, build some dividend income, and basically be able to retire early or just be able to use that income and go ahead and pay for my ongoing expenses. Now currently the portfolio here, guys, is sitting at $45,121. Just in the last day, the portfolio was up $254.95, and it was up about 0.57%. I did get some dividends in this portfolio as well for $9.17. I'll share with you guys the dividends here as well. And then if we look at the last week here, in the last week, the portfolio is up $1,156 or 2.64%. In the last month, the portfolio is up finally. It's been down for the last couple weeks here, but it's up $663 or 1.60%. And then overall in the last quarter, the portfolio is up $3,066.04 or 11.74%. Now, I did recently start this portfolio about 4 to 5 months ago, and if you are interested in keeping up with the journey on this portfolio, and if you do want to see any of my stocks in this current portfolio, I will have a link down in the description below. You can go ahead and see everything that I have in this portfolio. My goal with this channel, guys, is to be fully transparent and go on the journey together here and see where this portfolio takes us. And if you have any questions or any feedback, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. But now let's go ahead and jump into the dividends that I've just been paid in this portfolio recently. Now on July 17th, I got paid from Medtronics for $3.92 in dividends, and then the same day from AQN, which is an electric and utilities company, for $2.31, from Pimbila Pipeline Corporation for $1.23. They are a monthly paying dividend, so I really personally love this stock. And then Main Street Capital is another monthly paying dividend stock. They're basically a small investment bank, and they paid a dividend of $7.79. Then Realty Income Corporation for $18.71, and then FRT, or Federal Realty Investment Trust, for $4.08. Now these are just some of the dividends that I did get paid in this portfolio at this point. And as you guys can tell, dividends are starting to come in basically on a daily basis, which is awesome, which is exactly this strategy that I was going after. Now, if you are interested in a portfolio review, I did start a new series on this channel, and if you want to go ahead and send me over your portfolio, what I basically do is I choose different portfolios, and then I'll go ahead and make a video at least once a month and review the different portfolios and give you guys my take and my advice in regards to some of the things I would do with that portfolio if it was my own portfolio. I will have my email address in the description below. If you're interested in that, guys, make sure to go ahead and send me over your portfolio, and I'll choose a couple of portfolios to go ahead and share in the next video. Now, in regards to the top 5G stocks that I like personally better than AT&T, I want to go ahead and share with you guys 5 stocks in total that I do like better than AT&T. Now, don't get me wrong here. Personally, I do really like AT&T because AT&T is a very good stock. And if we just look over their financials, and if I just show you guys their dividends, which are the two things that I look for when I'm looking at evaluating different stocks, AT&T has been a stock that's consistently been paying out their dividends for the last 36 years. So this is a very good stock. And as far as their dividends go, their dividends are very high as well. They're paying a dividend of 6.88% currently. And that's an extremely high dividend for a stock that's been paying out a consistent dividend for the last 36 years. Now, they obviously aren't growing their dividends at such a high pace because AT&T has been funding a lot of money to go ahead and acquire different type of businesses and try to build their revenue. And because of that, their stock has been hit a little bit as far as their stock price goes. If we look at their stock price over the last year, let's go ahead and check that out here real quick. As we can tell, after this pandemic hit, the stock dropped to right around $30, and before the pandemic, it was getting close to about $38 to $40 per share. Now, I do personally see the stock climbing back up, and if we look overall just for this last year, the stock is currently down 7.75%. So I do believe AT&T is still a currently good buy and a good purchase, but there are going to be 5 stocks that I do like better than AT&T that I believe are going to be a bit safer stocks that have a lot more growth potential as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one. And as I do this, I do want to share with you guys that all these stocks I do carry in my current portfolio as well. Basically, I've done my homework around these stocks and I truly believe in these companies myself, and that's why I'm investing in all 5 of these companies pretty heavily at this point. But now just jumping into the first one is going to be Apple. Now, Apple is a 5G company as well because they are very connected to the cell phone industry, and at this point Apple is starting to work on cell phones that are going to have 5G capability and are going to be able to go ahead and connect with the 5G network. Now, Apple recently did announce new products as well, and they're basically a technology company that's on the consumer side, so they have a lot of different products like the iPhone, like Apple TV, like the Apple Watch, the MacBook. I mean, they have many different products that are basically the industry leaders as far as the different product lines that are out there. Now, Apple does make very good products, and they are basically the largest company when it comes down to the market cap size, and they are the largest company in the world with $1.7 trillion in market cap. Now, Apple's currently trading at $385 per share. I personally really love this stock. This is actually one of my biggest holdings in my current portfolio because just looking at Apple in a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year time frame, I don't see the stock going anywhere but up because Apple just sucks you into their ecosystem. And once you start using one Apple product, because they're just so simple, easy to use, as well as they look really nice and slick. Now, additionally, if we look at Apple here in the last year, Apple is up 90% as far as their share price goes. So this is a great growth stock that also does pay out a dividend. Now, if we look at Apple's dividend, Apple's been currently paying out a dividend consistently for the last 7 years. Now, I can tell you guys that Apple just started paying out their dividends 7 years ago, so this company has been consistently paying out their dividends since they started paying it. Now, this is awesome that I like to see here as well, is their 5-year growth rate. Apple's been growing their dividends by at least 10% every single year, and as far as their payout ratio goes, they're basically paying out 26% of their net earnings. So that's not bad because that shows me that they have a lot of room to grow because they're only paying out 26% of their earnings. And if we look at this, guys, and compare to other companies go as high as 60% or even 100%, or there's companies out there that even go into the negative to pay out their shareholders. So this company has a lot of room to grow. Now, their dividend is a bit low because Apple's one of those technology companies that is obviously reinvesting a lot of their funds to grow their share price. Now, with Apple, their dividends is currently 0.85% dividend yield. Now, next, let's go ahead and jump into the second company that I like better than AT&T, and that is gonna be AT&T's biggest competitor, and it's going to be the industry leader as far as wireless communication goes, which is going to be Verizon. Now, Verizon is another very solid company, and they are basically the industry leader when it comes down to wireless communication. Verizon has the #1 spot, and then Apple has the number 2 spot. Now, personally, I really like Verizon's strategy overall, especially when we compare them to AT&T, because they're sticking with what works. Now, Verizon being the largest industry leader in the communication sector, their stock did fall a little bit because of the pandemic, but since then it has been slowly climbing. Now, I personally do see the stock going up to $60 and beyond in the short term here, and if we just look right now, the stock is currently trading at $56.44. And just in the last year, Verizon is basically near their break-even point. Now, additionally, with Verizon, this is a very strong company that's been around for a very long time at this point. If we look at their dividends, Verizon is a company that does pay out a pretty decent dividend as well. Their dividend is 4.37% as far as their dividend yield goes, and that's a very good dividend yield in the dividend world, because anything above a 4% usually tends to start getting a bit riskier. But with Verizon, I mean, this is a company that I don't see going anywhere in the near term or even in the long term, because I just see them growing and basically taking over more and more of the communication sector. Now, Verizon is obviously within the 5G network because they are the largest communication company out there. And with Verizon, their payout ratio is a little bit higher at 51.76%, but usually within the communication sector, this is something that's usually a pretty standard. Their growth is 2.51%, but as far as their dividend growth rate, they've been consistently growing their dividends for the last 13 years, which is definitely something that I really like to see as well. But now let's go ahead and jump into the third stock. The third stock that I do like better than AT&T is gonna be Crown Castle International. Now, Crown Castle International is a real estate investment trust. Basically, they're a company that goes ahead and builds cell towers, or they have land that they go ahead and lease out to companies like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, basically some of the largest carriers out there. And because they own the land or they own the cell towers as well, they have long-term contracts with some of the biggest companies out there. Now, the best thing about investing in REITs is that with real estate investment trust, they do have to pay out at least 90% of their net earnings to their shareholders as dividends. Now, with Crown Castle, because the 5G network is going to be releasing soon, this company has been going up in price. At one time, I remember buying this company at right around $150 a share, or even a bit lower than that. But since then, because now 5G is being an aggressive push on the market, Crown Castle International's price has been jumping. So currently, the stock is trading at right around $169 per share. And if we look here, in the last 3 years, the stock has consistently just been climbing slowly over time. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon in the near future. Plus, they do pay out a decent dividend as well. The stock has been consistently paying a dividend for the last 6 years, and their dividend payout ratio is 82%. They do usually have to pay out at least 90% of their net earnings, so that's why with REITs, you'll definitely see a bigger payout ratio. And currently, based on the stock price, the dividend yield for this stock is 2.84%. Now, Crown Castle International is the largest cell tower company in the US. Basically, they control the US market. But the fourth stock that I'm going to share with you guys now on my list is going to be a very similar business model that does also build cell towers and has facilities, and that controls the land with the different cell towers out there, and some of the largest cell tower companies is going to be AMT. Now, I do like AMT better than AT&T as well, but AMT is actually the largest provider of wireless communication infrastructure and cell towers. Basically, with AMT, they have over 180,000 sites globally and cell towers globally, and they are in 5 different continents and 19 different countries, and they control majority of the stake in those countries. So I really do like AMT. AMT is basically a bigger version of CCI because the business model is very similar. Now, if we look at AMT, similar concept as far as when we compare it to CCI, where this stock has consistently been growing for the last 3 years. Now, the stock was down due to the pandemic, but now it's starting to climb back up. But I still think this is a very strong buy if I'm looking 5 to 10 years from now. Now, with AMT, their current stock price is trading at right around $258 per share, and their stock is up 26% overall just in this last year. Now, AMT does pay out a dividend as well, and their dividend is 1.7% dividend yield, and their payout ratio is a bit lower at 56%, So I do see the potential for the payout ratio for the stock to be higher, which in turn should go ahead and give a higher dividend yield. So that is something that I would expect out of the stock. But now if we just look at their overall growth rate, in the last 5 years, the stock has been consistently growing by 21.98%, which is an extremely high growth rate. So within this sector, within the 5G sector, these stocks are definitely starting to hit new highs. And I just see this growth continuously happening where I don't see the growth stopping anytime soon. And as far as the dividend growth rate, this company has been consistently growing their dividends for the last 8 years. And now just jumping into the fifth stock here that I like better than AT&T, we're gonna go ahead and go across the border here, and this is gonna be one of the biggest companies in Canada when it comes down to wireless communication, and that's gonna be TELUS. Now TELUS is a communication company in Canada, and they're one of the largest cell phone carriers in Canada. Now personally, I like TELUS a lot just because of their brand value. I love their brand. I love the culture of this company. And actually, I had a friend that actually worked at TELUS, and they basically had nothing ever bad to say because they're one of the largest providers, and basically all the moves that they've made in the last couple of years has positioned them just to grow stronger and stronger over time. Now, TELUS is on top of their options when it comes down to 5G, and they're basically one of the first companies in Canada that's releasing 5G connectivity. So TELUS is personally one of my favorite companies in Canada, and I do like this company because of the growth potential as well. Now, if we just look at TELUS here, in the last 3 years, this is another company that has been very consistent. Now, before the pandemic, this company was going up in the stock price to as high as $20 per share, but because of the pandemic, the stock price obviously fell, and now they're starting to go ahead and climb back up. If we look at the last 1 year, TELUS is still down roughly 5% here, 4.82%. So this is another stock that I do personally like that I don't see going anywhere anytime soon. And additionally, if we look at their dividend yield, TELUS does have a dividend yield of 4.90%. So this is another great dividend-based stock that has a lot of potential to grow as well. And the PE ratio is 17, which is not a bad PE ratio. That tells me that the stock has a decent value at this point. It's not overly valued, it's not undervalued. It's basically kind of where it should be. So guys, these are basically gonna be all the stocks and the 5G stocks that I like better than AT&T. Now I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if there's any other stocks and any other 5G stocks that you personally like better than AT&T that I have not mentioned, definitely let me know in the comments below. I'd definitely be very curious because I'm always looking to add additional stocks to my portfolio. Now, if you are interested in M1 Finance, that is basically the platform that I use for this dividend-based portfolio. I do have a link in the description where you do get a free $10 when you sign up with them. It is an affiliate link, so it does help me out and help the channel out as well, guys. But thank you again, guys, for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this content. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below, and make sure to hit that like button, as it really does help get this video in front of more people and helps build the community on this channel. Thanks again, guys. I will see you guys at the next one.